Hey everybody, I'm Curtis.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Love at First Fright. We have once again emerged from our cocoon-like structures.
Correct.
To venture out into the world.
Scary.
And go to the movies.
Lukewarm about it.
It was,
I just don't
we
like
were there.
I don't like leaving the house. I don't care for the theater that's by us.
I think it's fine.
I like going to the other one, but the other one's so far.
It's so far. Well, if we move, it might be closer.
And they have the movies at the weirdest times.
Yeah. Sorry, I had some trash in my
Got some detritus.
I had to get that out. That was really weighing me down. There's a straw wrapper in there.
But the nice thing about the movies by our house is that they serve alcohol.
So does the other one.
Does the other one?
Yeah, it's got a little bar.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
No
one's ever in it.
No one's ever in it, and I've never been in it.
Yeah.
But with this one, I got myself a beveragino.
So did I.
And it was called the Blue Lily. Go ahead.
I got a love bug.
Yeah, you got a love bug.
Okay.
Mine was gin based. Yours was rum based.
Yeah.
Which is pretty par for the course in terms of our preferences.
Yeah, I feel like mine. It was good. I enjoyed it. Not great with popcorn. Mine had...
Yeah, mine wasn't great with the popcorn either. I don't know that any cocktail is perfect.
There's gotta be.
I'm sure there's like one that nails it.
Yeah.
But we both got kind of fruity little guys.
Yeah, we got some gay drinks.
You can't just say that.
I didn't say it. I just said the drinks were gay. You called them fruity.
Sorry, my bad.
Once again.
The problematic one.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, so we went to the theater to see the movie that we're watching. I guess we can just say it now, whatever. We went and saw Hokum. If you're listening to this episode, you know what it's about because we always name it the movie that we watch. It's not like a surprise. Anyway, we watched Hokum.
Yeah. New release just came out yesterday at time of recording.
Yeah, so we're fresh. We're fresh into this one. We went and saw it. We both got a drink at the bar. I wanted to get an espresso martini.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we don't have... I don't even know what he said
He said they didn't have the cold brew.
Oh, I see. So they don't make their own like I do.
I don't...
Or
I guess
maybe
not.
they do. I don't know. I guess I can't make that assumption. Maybe they do and they just ran out or something like that.
Yeah, they obviously ran out.
They didn't make
the main
enough
ingredient.
of it.
Yeah.
So... They
kind
don't
of the most
they don't got like a
essential.
drip coffee machine back there?
No.
Just
that wouldn't be good.
Still coffee.
That wouldn't be good. Not in an espresso martini.
You can use a drip coffee machine. It's not about...
But then it's got to cool down and like we're talking about a long process here.
If you get a normal espresso martini, they pull a shot of espresso out of an espresso machine and it is hot.
Yeah, but they mix it with other ingredients. That's just like getting an iced latte. They also get a shot of espresso, but it's got so much milk and other stuff. But drip coffee isn't as concentrated, so you'd have to use more of it. So it's going to mess up the ratios.
It'd be fine.
You'd be fine.
I would be. If they gave me that drink, I would have been fine. Anyway, it's fine. I didn't get it. I didn't get that. I got the love bug, and it had banana something. Mm-hmm. I think it had Midori. It had like a lot of different fruit stuff. It was almost like a tropical...
fruit salad
kind of vibe. There was like a lot. There was like coconut. There was pineapple. The interesting thing was you could like taste all of it. Mm-hmm. And we got them off of the bartender special, and it was just this little tiny board that looked like hand scrawled.
Yeah.
Like dry erase on there.
And those drinks literally all looked better than the like professionally printed menus.
Yeah, like the standard ones that were on there. Anyway, so we got those because we got to the theater a little bit early, and then we were like, okay, let's go get our popcorn. And it's one of those theaters that have like popped up have been around now, I guess, but where you can get like food.
Yeah.
Like real food, not just
popcorn and stuff.
Popcorn or
yeah,
whatever.
They serve like burgers and hot dogs.
But this one's different.
Tendies.
Yeah, this one's different because it, like the ones I have been to, you can order at your seat in the theater, but you don't do that at this one. You order it at the same place you either pick up your tickets or buy the tickets from, and then you can take it to the theater because they think they have, at least in the one we were in, they had the little tables at the thing or whatever, and you could eat it there. But I'm just like, this is the same theater we went to when we saw Nosferatu, right? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember what movie we saw there.
I'm pretty sure it was Nosferatu. And because we were excited to go see it. And then we were like, oh, they got food there. We'll get food. And it was like, okay.
Yeah. It's something to write home about. I've been to better, like they have these theaters that like specialize in like dinner and a movie.
Yeah, yeah. Which to me is like a great concept because that's always been like a pretty traditional or like standard kind of like date night thing. Let's get dinner, get a movie. There's like two ways to go about that though, right? You can either get how like I've kind of done it in the past is getting dinner first and then you go and watch the movie.
Right.
But I think that's the rookie way to do it.
Right.
You should see the movie first and then get dinner.
And then you can talk about the movie
because
over
then
dinner.
It gives you, even if you have nothing else to talk about, it gives you something to talk about over dinner.
Right.
Now, I would say that if you are on a date, presumably with somebody like this is like a first or second date or something like that, and you don't have anything else to talk about other than the movie you just walked out of, probably not a good sign. But
and you have to pair the movie with another activity because seeing a movie on a date is literally the worst date activity because you're not spending any time together.
You just sit next to each other explicitly in an environment where you need to be quiet because other people are trying to watch the movie, which I've actually done before. Like, I've been invited on a date that's like, want to go see this movie? I saw Looper on a date. That's wild.
And that was all we did, was we went to the movie. Like, we met there, watched the movie, talked for a little while in the parking lot, and then we were like, all right, bye. When I was but a wee lad, my teenage years, we would go to the mall to go see a movie. Sure. And then we would either meet up, usually before the movie, obviously, because you don't want to walk in the movie, it's halfway going, but like enough in advance that you could like walk around the mall. We none of us had money, so we were just walking. You just walk around the mall. We were walking around the mall. We would do like a lap or two around the mall because it was there's always 2 floors, so you would do a lap around each floor, ultimately going into Hot Topic and then Spencer's. Right. Because what other store am I going in? Yeah. And then I used to love Earthbound Trading Company. Oh, we would go in there too. I loved Earthbound. We would go in there too. Man, malls. bring me back. Yeah. Anyway, but we would do that, and then we'd go see the movie, and then like that's when everyone would go home because that's your parents would come get you curfew. Mm-hmm. I'm not. Whatever, if you had one or whatever. We were in a household where it's like, movie ends at 9:30, my mom's there at like 9:35. Yeah. Calling me. I didn't have a curfew. Yeah. But my parents also didn't really keep tabs on me. Yeah. So. But anyway, but then sometimes we would do the thing where like, if you planned it right, you go see the movie first and then you would like hang out with your friends. But I've done plenty of like dates where like you go see a movie and either before or after you get food. It was usually before we got. Yeah, I mean, I've done that before. I'm just talking about the one date I had where all we planned was the movie. No, that seems crazy. And it's a terrible date. Never dated that. Never went on another date with that guy. Yeah. Shout out. Pretty sure he's married with kids now. You know who you are. We're Facebook friends. Okay. But no, that kind of like all of that is to say like it brings me to, I don't know. I just like. I don't want to say like some of the luster as like some of the shines come off the apple of going to see movies in the theater, but also some of it has a little bit. The best part, unequivocally, hands down, I will hear no arguments about this, is the popcorn. Correct. Every single time. Clock it.
We have tried all sorts of different home, popcorns or whatever.
We need to just buy some Flavor Call.
The Flavor Call, we really need, because that's like the one thing we haven't tried. But I still think it's not just the Flavor Call. Like, it's also like the butter.
Yes.
The melted butter. And like, I've tried buying that like popping and topping oil stuff, and it's closer. But it's not the same.
It's not the butter flavor.
Anyway, so the popcorn is the best part.
Yeah.
But paying like $25 for like a popcorn.
Right.
And
a drink.
And a drink is like wild. And then on top of that, like, so whatever about that part of the experience. I still enjoy the popcorn, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was just an expense that we were going to have. But then, like, it's like every time we go to the movies, I feel like we have an experience where like somebody else in the theater was fucking around.
Yeah.
And it done pissed me off.
Yeah.
And this time I have two.
I don't know what you're going to say, but the lady who was sitting next to me was pissing me off.
Okay, see, you were my buffer. I heard her like one time, so I don't know what else is going on over there, but like, you can talk about your thing if you'd like.
So I will say she settled down once the movie started.
She settled down.
So she wasn't a problem during the actual movie, but I was worried she was going to be.
Yeah.
Because you know how when we were watching the previews, you know how there was like a weirdly like longer than average pause between each of the trailers?
It was uncomfortable.
This lady is riddled, her brain is riddled with holes formed by TikTok, just like destroying her attention span and her patience.
Yeah. Because
every single time there would be the break between the trailers, I would just hear her talking to the person next to her. What's going on? You think it's frozen? She would wait a millisecond before she would be like,
trailer would end and she's like, it's broken.
It's frozen. We should go tell somebody.
We just gotta get out of here.
Yeah. And I'm like, just shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Shut up. Have you ever existed? But this is your first day.
It is not that long. Like, there was one time where it went on long. Like, the first time it did it, I also was like, okay, this is going on.
Yeah, this is a little awkward.
But then when it does it every time, you should have now adapted to where this is the reality that we live in.
Yeah,
all of us are in this together.
A little extra time in the previews.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's really not a big deal.
No, it's fine.
It's just a weird flaw of the editing.
Yeah,
and like,
or
that's
whatever.
all it is.
It's just, it was weird.
But the fact that every single time she's just like, do you think it's frozen? No, Barbara.
Actually, I don't. Because we're 4 previews in, so I think it's actually fine. It's
we
just
are
weird.
waist deep in this experience. And it's been the same every time.
Yeah.
There's nothing to suggest that this time is the time it's actually frozen.
Yep. What if she was right, though? That would have been wild.
Anyway, she was fine for the rest of the movie.
Well, that's good.
But
probably because the movie was actually on.
Yeah, the movie didn't have any weirdly long pauses. Yeah. So,
my 2 things was... so one of them happened 2 separate times, and the other one, it less pissed me off and more was just really funny. Because it wasn't during the movie, it was during like the preview part of it. The thing that happened twice was, and it was 2 separate people. There was behind us, we were the first ones into the theater, so we found our seats, we were fine, and then everyone shuffled in as they do, like 30 seconds before the previews start, whatever.
Right.
Somebody we're in like the second to last row, and then there's the last row, and people get into that, and then somebody cuts their fucking phone flashlight on for
that did happen twice,
not just like a second or whatever, like, oh shit, I accidentally did, like, I don't know what they were doing, but like it was right between our seats and blasting me in my peripheral vision, and I kept being like looking back over my shoulder trying to like get them to get the message, like I'm the monster in the movie or whatever,
right.
Like trying to jump scare him or whatever, because it was pissing me off, and I was like, what are we doing? There's literally nothing you need to have your flashlight on for right now. You can have snacks in your bag. That's fine.
People who turn their flashlight on to find their seat in the movie theater are the weakest among us.
No, absolutely.
And the fact that you can't just The rest of us just squint.
It's also not necessary because the numbers on the seats were lit up.
They're backlit. Yeah. Okay, and we also have ambient lighting from the screen. If your vision is that bad.
Yep. And at the end of the day, honestly, even if like the ambient lighting wasn't that good, the light was burnt out in the thing so you couldn't tell. You don't turn your flashlight on. You guess which seat you think is yours, and then you wait until somebody else comes in and then awkwardly kind of shuffles back and forth between two rows, makes direct eye contact with you while you know that you're in the wrong seat, and you stare straight ahead until they come up to you and say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I might be wrong about this.
I think you might be
in my seat. Because, like, what number do you have? Yeah, no, this is my seat. You do that whole song and dance, and then everyone gets over it, okay? That would be so much less distracting.
That reminds me of when we were at the concession stand. The people in the line next to us, because there were, like, 3... cash registers where you could be served. Yeah. There was a group of 3 young ladies.
Oh my God! Yes, I forgot about this.
Who were like, "Oh, we need to pick out our seats." I don't know what movie they were seeing. It wasn't the movie we saw.
No,
doesn't matter.
Nope.
They were probably seeing The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Now that I'm thinking about it, probably.
Yeah. But anyway,
not to like stereotype.
Oh, I'm stereotyping.
Fair enough.
But the showing that they were going to, and also this particular theater, like none of the rooms are particularly huge. Like they don't
relatively
have
small theaters.
They don't have the huge stadium seating that a lot of them have these days. They only have like, I think it went from A to E in ours. Like it was not very many rows of seating. But anyway, the showing that they wanted to see, most of the seats were already taken, and there was just random sporadic ones. There were a group of 3. There were a couple spots where there were groups of 2, but there were no groups of 3 left.
Yeah.
And so I hear them strategizing.
This is insane that this was their...
And they're saying stuff like, well, what if we buy these 3 seats, random seats, by the way, that are just sort of scattered, and then we go up to somebody and we ask them to trade with us so that we can all sit together.
Yeah.
Or we buy a group of 2 and then 1 random seat, and then we ask if people will move down.
Yeah.
So that we can all sit together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, fuck off with that.
Yeah.
Like, the level of entitlement of being like, oh, we'll just buy random seats and then ask somebody else to sit in random seats so that we can all sit together, because it's important that we sit together.
Yeah.
And it's not important that the people who bought their tickets in advance to sit together.
The husband and wife that have like 5 kids and this is the one date night they've had in 6 months. I don't care if they get to sit together.
No, it doesn't matter. If they
Me
live
and my
together.
2 besties.
Yeah.
Gotta see Devil Wears Prada 2 together.
And also, to our point earlier, it doesn't really matter if you sit together.
No.
Because you should not be talking.
No, none of you should be talking during this experience. And if you want to do that, you wait till it hits streaming and you watch it at home.
Like the rest of us.
Or you have a boatload of money and you rent out an entire theater, and then I don't care what you do with it.
You do whatever you want,
You can do whatever you want in that.
Yeah. But I just thought that was the craziest thing I had ever heard in my life. I'm hearing these 3 people and I'm just like, this is not going to work out for you.
Yeah.
You're going to buy these tickets. One person is going to have to sit by themselves.
You might convince somebody to move down or whatever.
No.
Like, I'm saying, like, if there was, like, 1 seat left over, right, at a row, you might convince, like, people to move down so you could have 2 spots next to each other. Mm-hmm. There's, like, not a shot in hell you're getting
not gonna
3
coordinate
people
these
to do.
3
It's just not going to happen. It would have to be the Goldilocks situation of there were like 2 seats or like 1 seat like in between 2 groups and then like 2 seats on the end, and you could get everyone else in the row to be like, oh well, we'll all just move down, and then you could have the 3 seats next to each other. Right. There's no way. Right. There's just no way that's happening.
Or you take the 2 seats on the end, ask those groups to scooch together, and then you take it. Anyway. But it's also like, again, and I'm not trying to be like, people should never help each other out, whatever. Yeah. But like, if I picked that seat in advance, like we bought our tickets online and we picked the seats we wanted.
Yes.
If someone came up to me and was like, actually, would you scoot down one? I would probably do it, because 1 seat isn't necessarily going to make a huge difference to my experience.
Yeah.
But why should I have to?
Right.
Like, maybe I'm the entitled one, but I'm like, some of us planned in advance.
Yeah, I like you're saying you might. I don't actually think I would. I would actually be like, no, I'm good. Because I like to have the seats closest to, like, the center. Normally, the ones in the center row, center, whatever, like, the speakers are engineered in a way that that sound is best there. So, like, is it going to dramatically, affect my movie-going experience if I move one seat over and the sound's, like, imperceptibly less good? No, sure it won't. But, like, also, I did buy the seat. So, like, maybe you and your 14 friends or whatever could have bought them earlier or whatever.
It kind of reminds me of, like, this has become a thing that people talk about on planes where, like, certain people will pay the extra to select their seats, and then some people will play the game of just buying however many tickets and then getting randomly assigned, and then they're like, oh, do you mind moving so that me and my husband can sit together? And it's like, no, I literally paid extra to do what you're trying to do, which is pick my seat. Yeah. And, like, if you couldn't afford to pay extra, sorry, babe, you don't get to sit next to your husband.
Yeah. It's also, like, I know there's flights that are just, like, really long, so, like, maybe on those ones it matters a little bit more, but, like, on the flights I've been on, I wouldn't care. Like, it's been, like, a couple of hours. I'll just sit by myself. I'll be okay.
The longest flight I've ever taken in my life was when I was in grad school and I did a study abroad in Ghana. Yeah. That was, like, a 16-hour flight. Yeah. Total. And I sat in between two strangers the entire way. Yeah. Because we all bought seats, like my class, like we all bought seats on the same flight, but they didn't buy like a pod together or anything. They just told us which flight to buy your seat from. Yeah. And so I just picked whatever was cheapest because I'm a broke grad student. Right. I sat between two complete strangers.
Yeah, and it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah. Was it kind of miserable because I have a middle seat and also I can't sleep on planes because I'm cursed? Sure. Like, yes. But it would have been miserable even if I had been sitting next to one of my colleagues. Yeah. You know?
Yep. And again, in this context with, like, a movie theater, it doesn't matter if you're with your friends. Like, I get it. Like, you want to be next to your friends, so, like, when there's a moment and, like, you're like, or whatever, like, you feel closer to them. But you're also all watching the movie at the same time and none of you should be talking. Now, I will say, Devil Wears Prada 2, comedy, right? Right. So maybe slightly more acceptable that there's, like, some guffawing and laughter and a little bit more loud noises or whatever. Right. But, like, not in the movie that we saw. It's a horror movie. Like, the only thing that we should be hearing are, like, gasps or, like, oh my God, or, whatever. And generally pretty quiet.
Occasional laughter.
Yeah, because, most horror movies have some funny stuff in it.
Right. Or just, like, the relief laughter of, like, oh, okay. Yeah.
The other thing that happened during it that it didn't really piss me off, it was funny. It would have pissed me off if it was, like, during the actual movie. Was that it sounded like, and it was probably the same people behind us with the flashlight.
Those flashlight people.
I don't know when it became acceptable to fully unfold the classified sections from whatever newspaper.
I'm drinking a cup of coffee and I almost spat it out. I know exactly the moment you're talking about.
What are we doing?
That was during the start of the movie, like when they're running like the all the production companies at the beginning. So technically the movie had started.
I guess technically you're right. I was just giving it like a lot of leeway because like nothing interesting was happening on the screen yet.
And this fucking person, I don't know what they were trying to do. They were clearly trying to open something. It was that classic scenario where, like, you're trying to open a bag of chips during a test or something.
It's 2 a.m. You're in a paper-thin walls apartment. Yes. You gotta get this bag of tortilla chips open.
Right. But it went on so long. I'm guessing it was a situation where they couldn't get it open. Yeah. And so then they were just, like, fighting for their life. Which, if it had been me, I would have just been like, I'm not eating the fucking chips.
Actually, I don't eat these. I'm fine.
I don't get to eat M&Ms during my feature film.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Anyway. There's got to be something in, like, the water or the air today, because this is, like, I'm now thinking back to the rest of the day that I've had, and, like, some just absolutely insane stuff has just, like, occurred today. I was at work. We had a couple of events going on. There was, like, a graduation party happening. And very often when you have these larger parties, one of the things that happens is like the people will buy food or cater food and they get way too much.
Right, because you never know.
It literally happens all the time. Like, it's a very common thing where people will come out and be like, hey, we ordered like way too many pizzas. Do your staff want any? And I'll be like, yes, absolutely. So I'll take this.
Your staff.
Yeah. So I'll take the pizza, whatever. In this case, it was somebody who came through and they had, and I'm regretting not having any of these now, but whatever. I had just eaten from one of the food vendors that was there. Anyway, they dropped off. He comes in and he's got a Publix tray of chicken tenders. And he's like, do you or any of your staff want some chicken tenders? And I'm talking like the party tray full of these things. So I don't know how many of these things got eaten by their party or whatever.
Right.
But I took a total of 12 of them on 2 plates. And I was sitting at this little bar top that we have there or whatever. I'm sitting next to these. I'm not joking. Less than 30 seconds after this guy has left with the rest of his chicken tenders to wrap up his party and everything, some random old dude walks by, sees the chicken. I'm sitting next to them, these 2 plates of chicken tenders, and he's what he says, oh, can I get one of those? Apropos of nothing. I didn't lock eyes with him. I didn't have like an awkward moment of like...
Is he associated with the party?
No.
So he's just a patron.
Just a random dude. He's like, can I get one of those? And I mean like reaching in to start going from, and I'm like, oh, and then one of my coworkers was next to me and they were like, well, technically it's for the staff. And I was like, it's not technically, it's for the staff.
It is for the staff.
It's explicitly for the staff. But anyway. and then I'm, again, 30 seconds later, a different old guy comes up to me, puts a hand on my shoulder, and he's like, you mind if I get a wing? A, not wings. B, what are we doing? What's going on here? Why is everyone passing this chicken like I'm just giving this out to people? I've never had anyone do this.
That is insane. The amount of confidence, like... I'm just trying to imagine, like, if I brought food to the brewery. To, like, maybe I bring a pizza because my friend group is hanging out and we bring a pizza. I cannot imagine someone coming up and being like, yo, can I get a slice? I'd be like, are you one of my friends?
It's the I think you should leave sketch.
Yes.
Of the guy that looks really good.
I should have got that.
Give me that. Like he was like, I'm joking, and I'm just like I'm losing my mind, and like everyone else around me is just like, yeah, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I've not asked for random people's food. Like I get that, like, looking at the 2 plates of chicken tenders, I'm not eating all of that, right? That's 12 Publix, they're massive chicken tenders, right? They're also not just sitting there with a sign that says, take one.
Take one.
Also, 2 red plates piled high with chicken tenders? You're just walking by thinking, oh, surely that's left out for everyone here.
Right.
It's not enough for everyone to just get one.
And the fact that they ask means they don't assume that they're just sitting out for everyone.
So why are they asking me? Why did I get accosted by 2 old men?
If there's one thing I know about old men, they cannot resist Publix chicken. They cannot fucking resist
I don't even know where they came from. I don't know. I don't think they were part of that party or anything like that. Which, even if they were, by the way, the guy who offered me the chicken to begin with had so many more tenders still on that platter. So just go out there.
That was the only thing I could think of, was that if they had been associated with the party, then and they had come into the main brew house, that maybe they were like, oh, you know, like, oh, that's the chicken from the party. I actually do want another one.
Right.
But the fact that it's just random patrons.
Yeah. But even if he's like, yeah, I do actually want another one. I'm sorry. Somebody already gave me these and I've touched all of them. You don't know
That's
me.
What you should have said. You should have said, I'm so sorry. I actually stuck all of these down my pants.
Yeah.
And I scratched my ball sack with them.
I was truly like, I have to be like going insane because like I've never experienced this before in my life. It was wild.
I love
the number of I can't believe, like, one time is like kind of a humorous story. The fact that it happened, I'm not joking, within 30 seconds of each other has got to be the craziest shit I've ever experienced.
Just a weird day.
It's a really weird day. Anyway, we should actually talk about the movie.
Yeah, we're like 30 minutes deep.
Yes. Oh my god.
So we went and saw Hokum, new release. Yay! We don't do a whole lot of new releases on this show, so this is kind of fun and different.
Yeah.
And this is like we said, brand new release because it just came out yesterday as of time of recording. But it is a 2026 supernatural horror film written and directed by Damian McCarthy. Yep. You might know Damian McCarthy from Caveat and Oddity. I haven't seen Caveat. I have seen Oddity, and that movie scared the shit out of me.
I haven't seen either, but you told me about Oddity, and it sounded spooky.
It was extremely spooky, and it was also very, like, folk horror-ish.
Seems this is kind of a niche that he has, and he does it pretty well.
He does it very well. And another thing I like about his style, because I'm assuming that this is consistent because it was true of both Oddity and this movie, is that he kind of does this blend of, like, things that are supernatural, but then there's also, like, a B plot of just, like, human on human, like, crime.
Yeah.
That is separate from the supernatural elements.
It's supernatural, kind of like unreal, but then it's paired with very grounded, like real
scenarios of like human on human crimes or, you know, betrayals or whatever. That is, it's really cool. He managed to weave that into the original, into Oddity as well. Yeah. And then this movie very much had that going on too, where you had kind of these A and B plots happening that really made it interesting the whole way through. Let's talk about the cast. So we have Adam Scott. Yep. You're probably familiar with him. I love that he did this movie. Mm-hmm. I hope that we're going to see more horror from him in the future.
I'm pretty sure he was in a Hellraiser.
Was he?
I think so. One of the...
Well, he's also, of course, in Krampus. We know that. Yeah. But yes, Adam Scott as Ohm Bauman, Peter Coonan as Maul, David Wilmot as Jerry, Florence Ordesh as Fiona, Michael Patrick as Fergal, and Will O'Connell as Albie. Will O'Connell also portrayed Jack the Jackass, which is like a children's show character in the TV and like a couple different parts, so he was playing double duty there. Those are the main people in this. And the film follows Adam Scott, who is an author who travels to a hotel in Ireland, unaware that it may be haunted. Spooky.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It is, like I said, it mixes that kind of like supernatural, almost like, I mean, it is folklore. It's like Irish folklore.
Yeah, it relies a lot on Irish folklore.
Which is cool because, I don't know, I feel like, you know, like other movies do folklore stuff, but I think it's fun when you can like drill down into kind of a very specific and like kind of tighter thing. Yeah. And this movie does a really good job of like mixing that like folklore, supernatural stuff, but again with like a real world plot that ends up happening during the events of or unfolding over the course of this movie. I think it's also really cool because they, with the folklore thing, spoiler, I guess I'll say right now, it concerns, like, it's haunted and it is supernatural in that there's a witch character, but not like a witch who's like casting spells. She's like a very specific kind of witch that like drags people into and through hell, I guess.
Right. I'm assuming this is an Irish take.
Yeah, it must be
witches.
And it's kind of cool because they don't spend a lot of time really explaining all of that. There's like one segment towards the beginning where like a character is explaining to two small children to like as a punishment kind of a thing and kind of to scare them. We don't get any more background on like what the kids were doing or whatever. Right. Kind of come in media res as he's talking about this with them. That like it's very evident that like it's like Chekhov's gun, right? Like he's explaining this and you're like, okay, so
there's
this is what's gonna happen later in the movie, right? But like he explains honestly I think a little bit more than we ever actually really get to see of it. And I think that that's actually really well done because it sets up the stakes of like, oh, this is what's coming at a certain point. I don't know how far we're going to get there, but I know that it's not good. And then they never really have to get that far into it for you to be like, no, Adam Scott, I don't want this to happen to you.
Don't do this.
I kind of want it to happen to you a little bit because your character was definitely an asshole.
Definitely
like
a huge asshole.
A huge asshole in the beginning of this movie. Yeah. But, he comes around.
Sort of.
And he's still kind of...
He's a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
But, Adam Scott's character, so he is an author. He has this successful book series that he is trying to write the final chapter of. And we first see him, he's working on that final chapter, and it's a very bleak ending. Yeah. But as we get to know him, we see that like he's had a lot of tragedy in his life. He's a very, he just seems kind of maybe burnt out is a good term. I don't know exactly, but both his parents have died. Yeah. We learn later on that, his mother died in a particularly tragic way. I guess also his father died in a particularly tragic way. Yeah. So there's a lot of trauma there that seems to have hardened him. But he's very much a jerk. Like every character that he interacts with, he's just an asshole to for kind of no good reason. Yeah. There's especially one character who's a bellhop at the hotel that he stays at, who approaches him and is like, hey, I'm a big fan of your work and your characters have meant a lot to me. I've loved your books. I'm also a writer myself. I do this as, just to like keep the lights on and pay the bills. But I consider myself a writer too. And he does just like what is the most cruel thing he could possibly do, which he has a little tape recorder that he uses to jot down his ideas. And he picks it up and he goes, oh, this conversation with you has given me a character idea. And he records himself saying, an oblivious character who can't read the room, who is desperate. Vacuum. Yeah, like just nails into this guy so hard for truly no reason. Yeah. Like I get that I've never been in a situation where I am a famous person. Yeah. And I'm sure it does get tiring to be trying to rest and relax and be approached by people who, want to kind of cling on to your fame a little bit. Yeah. But there's also a way to be firm without being cruel. Yeah.
Well, it's like earlier in the movie I think he's the hotel manager. Yeah. He's talking with him. He's like, oh, I recognize your name. My son's a big fan of yours. Could I bring you his book and you sign it for him? And Adam Scott's character says no. Mm-hmm. And like, it's kind of harsh that he says it, right? And you're kind of like, you're kind of a dick. He's just asking you to sign a book.
He's not even saying, can I bring my son by to meet you?
Right. He's just asking you to sign a book. And like, but at the same time, I also can understand like if he's like, done this a lot or like like maybe he is kind of burnt out with it and he shouldn't necessarily be required to every time somebody asks to do this to to just give in and capitulate to it or whatever. And so like I can kind of see it both ways, but then in this interaction with this bellhop character, his name's Albie, he does that where he does the tape recorder thing and then he takes a spoon that's sitting on the bar. And this is the framing of this is it's like right around Halloween.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the night before Halloween when he's first going to the hotel.
Weird, we've now watched like 2 movies that are supposed to take place around Halloween, and I didn't know that for either one of them. But anyway, he takes this spoon, and there's like a little, kind of jack-o'-lantern that's just sitting on the bar with a candle in it, and he puts the spoon in the jack-o'-lantern's mouth. And like nobody says anything about this, he just kind of does it, and then they continue on their conversation, and then Adam Scott's character is Mr. Bowman, is what they call him, Bowman. He pulls the spoon out of the mouth of the jack-o'-lantern and then presses it onto Albie's hand, on the back of his hand, and burns him. And then he's like, you gotta have tougher skin than that if you're gonna make it as a writer. And I was just like, holy shit.
So you assaulted this guy.
The fact they're not kicking you out is insane.
Right. And I know, like, he shows his hand, it didn't burn him enough to, like, truly injure him or anything. But still, like, you just assaulted someone.
I mean, yeah. So... Anyway, so yeah, he's kind of a big asshole, right at the beginning of the film, and it's funny because like they do a lot of like showing you that he's like dealing with a lot without like explicitly telling you until later in the movie. They kind of like they leave a bunch of puzzle pieces for you to be like, I wonder what the deal is here, and then they kind of like just tell you later so that you have enough to be able to understand the motivations, but like. He goes to spread the ashes of his parents, and when he's doing this ritual of spreading these ashes around this tree, he's like very caring and like careful, and it seems like loving and compassionate when he's spreading his mother's ashes, and then he goes to open his dad's ashes, and he literally just like shakes the thing and just kind of like dumps them out, like uncaringly or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, so we don't like dad for some reason.
we don't care for father.
And then like he's explaining later that like his mother was murdered by somebody, and you know, just
and then
like a
dad
bunch of
turned into a monster and drank himself to death.
Yeah,
you know?
and
so you learn pretty quick that he had a tough childhood. You know, mom died when he was very young. Dad wasn't a good parental figure in his life. You know,
and so you start getting this stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, so he's kind of messed up, which is explaining a lot of So it like helps to explain a lot of his like bad behavior and like that he's kind of just an asshole to people or whatever. But at the same time, you're like, I don't know. Albie didn't do anything. I mean, yes, he's kind of annoying him or whatever at the bar, and Albie isn't reading the room that he just wants to be left alone.
Right.
Do you need to burn him?
No. And again, this is what I mean by like, be firm.
Yeah.
And just say, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
I want to drink at the bar by myself.
Right.
Please leave me
I would
alone.
like to be left alone.
Yeah. Like, that's all you have to say. You don't have to be a dick about it, you know? And I wouldn't blame anybody for doing this. It's funny because we were just recently talking about anybody who knows who Chappel Roan is. She has kind of a reputation now for, like, being a bitch, being a diva, because when people, like, approach her in public, she doesn't tend to be super like friendly and accommodating. And there was like a whole experience that happened that ended up getting like super overblown, where she was at a hotel and there was like a kid who's vaguely tied to fame. It's like her dad like used to be a professional soccer player or something. I don't even remember what he was. Someone I had never heard of until this, but apparently that kid and her parents got like yelled at by hotel security for bothering Chappel Roan, and they went online and talked about how Chappel Roan is this evil witch who hates children, and all my daughter wanted was just to say hi, and she wasn't trying to bother you, and blah blah blah. And it ended up sparking a lot of conversation about like, what do famous people owe you? And I would argue that they don't really owe you much. Like, there are certain times where they're expected to be on. Like, if you are out in public as your professional persona at like an event, then I would argue like you do kind of owe people whatever your like public image is, you should align with that. But when you are off and you're in your private time, you don't really
you're checking into your
anything.
hotel room or whatever. Maybe not then, you know, but still there's a level of human to human decency. Right. You also don't have to be like,
you don't need to be cruel. You just need to be firm.
Yeah, you can just be like, hey, not right now.
Yeah, and also it's up to people who are trying to interact with these famous people to understand, hey, this probably happens to them a lot.
Literally all the time.
And maybe it would be better to just be chill about this.
Yeah, you can say hi.
Yeah, say hello
hi.
And say like, oh, such a big fan of your work. Welcome to, hope you enjoy your stay at the hotel. And then walk away.
And then move away.
Walk away, you know?
Anyway, but yeah, so he's a jerk. And then while he's there, he ends up, she's like the bartender.
Yeah, she's the bartender. Her name's Fiona.
Yeah, he ends up like, you know, talking with her and everything while he's at the bar and everything. And then series of events or whatever occur and he ends up back at the hotel a little while later and she has gone missing. And so this is kind of like starts a lot of the big mystery about this, is because he's basically been gone for like a couple of weeks. And he comes back to the hotel and she's gone missing. He's trying to figure out some stuff or whatever, and this leads to this all these arrows pointing to this thing called the honeymoon suite within the hotel, which is apparently closed off because everyone believes it's haunted by a witch.
Yes.
And the bulk of the movie takes place in this honeymoon suite and an area that is attached to it or whatever. A lot of the big scares are all in there. I would argue nothing really before that is like super scary. There's like one thing right at the beginning kind of that's a little bit scary, but the bulk of like all like the jump scares and like the weird visuals and the like really big tension building stuff is all within the honeymoon suite. Yeah. And it is really well done. It's one of those cool things where, again, I think it's because they chose to do essentially like a one location shoot kind of a thing, where
at
like,
least for the bulk of it.
Yeah, it feels a lot tighter.
Yeah, you feel kind of claustrophobic where you're like, God, like, especially when things start kicking up, you're like, there's just fucking nowhere for this guy to go.
Yeah. One of the things, and I mean this in like a very like loving way when I say this, is it is kind of an hour of trying to watch Adam Scott solve like a fucked up escape room. Yes. Because he gets locked in there. Right. And then he's like trying to like break his way out, and like he's trying to unscrew like a screw, and he doesn't have a screwdriver, so he's like trying to use a knife, and there's this like bell that keeps going off, and he like needs to use that to like, there's like a dumbwaiter thing that's supposed to go down to the basement or whatever, and he's trying to use that to get it to press the button, and he's like synchronizing it because the button in the bottom is like not
working, so he'd get stuck down there.
And his tape recorder was left with Fiona back when he like had talked with her at the bar and everything, and so she had it, and he finds the tape recorder, and she's like left messages on it and that are like relevant to stuff that he's about to go through. So it feels very much like when you are like in an escape room and you're like, I could use a hint, and the tape recorder pops on and is like, because like the dumbwaiter has a button at the top, but like he doesn't know this because he hasn't been in the dumbwaiter to go down to the basement or anything like that, but like the tape recorder just starts kind of expounding information, being like, the button at the bottom does not, there's no button down here. Yeah. And so then he's like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? Right.
No, I thought that was really fun. It did feel like an escape room, and I had a similar thought of like, we're basically just watching Adam Scott's character go through all these puzzles.
Yeah, he's just solving puzzles.
Figure out how to get out of this space. Yeah. And that would already be tense, right? Yeah. But because part of the back, like, we're intentionally trying not to get too specific, but part of the reason he really needs to get out of the room is because the hotel has closed for the season. Yes. And so there's no one to come retrieve him. Right. It's not like, oops, I got locked in, but in 3 hours when they come back from their lunch break,
I'll be fine. I'll just chill until the evening dinner service.
Right. Yeah. Like, he's truly stuck there. Yeah. And then, so that's already tense, but then as he is going deeper into this honeymoon suite, he's realizing, oh, maybe these stories that I had heard about the honeymoon suite and the witch that haunts this room are actually true, question mark. Yeah. And he has a lot of supernatural experiences, clearly. And he's also, like, is a trend in a lot of horror movies that I love. I'm a sucker for it. He's also dealing with his own grief and trauma. Yeah. And that is sort of manifesting in this experience as well. Like, there's a point where the TV comes on and it's kind of a jump scare moment, the static and everything. But then it reverts back to this show from his childhood, but instead of it being like a real episode that would have happened, it's the host of the show kind of explaining what happened to his mom, and getting like more and more intense and specific about it,
basically
as it goes
like
on.
Talking directly to him,
pretty much talking directly to him. And that was actually one moment. I rated this movie pretty high for scares, because there was a moment surrounding this TV where I literally closed my eyes because I knew there was going to be a jump scare, and I was really freaked out, and I didn't want to see the jump scare. And that's rare for me. I don't tend to close my eyes in horror movies. I'm easily startled. But I'm not easily scared, if that makes sense. Like, my startle reflex is super easy to activate. I will jump at just about anything. I get spooked if Curtis walks into a room quietly. But but it's hard to genuinely scare me. And so the fact that I felt the need to like close my eyes because I was so scared to see what the outcome of this was going to be was pretty effective. And I was like, okay, this movie is actually freaking me out a little bit.
That made me realize, I think, in the last couple episodes, we actually didn't talk about our like scariest moments. We
haven't done that in a while.
We should talk about them. We should get back into that, because I think it's fun, and I think this movie, it might be a thing where in like some of the more recent episodes that we've like, you know, done here, that like we've just not watched movies that particularly have a big scary moment for us, but I think this movie definitely does, because I have a moment, which is spoiler if you don't want to. We're probably about to get a little bit more spoiler specific. I want to get specific, because otherwise you're not gonna get the framing of this or whatever. But spoiler, if you don't want to hear it, go watch the movie and then come back to this part of the episode. Mr. Bowman, Adam Scott's character, meets a guy named Jerry in the woods, and he's got, you know, moonshine basically, and this bottle of magic milk where he's drinking goat's milk that he explains that he spikes with mushrooms that he finds in the forest. And there's this whole thing that he goes on this talking about like the goats that are out here, they climb on top of these cars and they fuck up the cars because the goats also eat the mushrooms. And when the goats are tripping out, and I guess same for the people, that like staring into your own eyes and the reflections like deepens the trip, and so that's why the goats keep getting onto the cars, is because of the reflective surfaces. Anyway, while Mr. Bowman has been locked in the honeymoon suite by the murderer of Fiona.
Big spoiler. This is the B plot.
This is kind of the B plot, like real world stuff going on. And he gets locked in there, and so this is why he's like trying to get out, is because he's found Fiona's body. He knows who killed her, and he desperately needs to get out of here. And this is all before a lot of the big supernatural stuff really kicks in. It's once he's really locked in that happens. Anyway, Jerry ends up breaking back into the hotel after it's closed for the season, because Jerry had an experience where he was tripping out on mushrooms, and he broke into the hotel to steal medicine that I guess gets left by guests and locked in the office. So he's broken in, he's trying to do this, and while he's there, he has an experience where he sees Fiona's ghost. So he then ends up talking to Mr. Bowman about all of this, because the police's prime suspect is Jerry, because the Garda. Sorry.
It's in Ireland.
They suspect that he killed Fiona because he was apparently the last person seen talking to her on the night that she disappeared. Anyway, so he breaks in with him, and Jerry ends up getting taken out by this. It's like hotel security kind of guy. I don't know what he does around there.
He's like the groundskeeper, I think.
I guess he carries around a crossbow fucking everywhere. Anyway, he drags Jerry out of there, but he doesn't realize that Bowman is there. Bowman is left by himself, and he goes up to the suite. And then later, the hotel manager, who is the killer, ends up showing up, and this is how he gets locked in there. Jerry escapes from I think his name's Fergal is the guy,
that's his name.
The groundskeeper dude. He escapes from him and then goes back to the hotel, and he's like fucked up because he jumps out of a moving car. Like one of his arms, he's like limping around everywhere. Anyway, he goes up to the suite, and this is the scary moment. He ends up like, it seems like, oh, okay, we're gonna get out of this thing, and then Oh man, the manager guy, I can't remember his name. Maul. Jerry has broken open this little like crawl through door thing, and Bowman's about to get out, and then Maul pops out from around a corner. He's holding the crossbow, and they hold on the moment for just long enough so for everyone in the audience to get like a kind of gasp, because you know what's about to happen, but it's enough for you to process it, and then he shoots Jerry in the head with the crossbow and kills Jerry. And that genuinely got me so good. Because I was like, that's actually crazy, because like I was like, this guy, I think what was the reason it's so scary to me is that when I first saw this, I was like, this is a kind of a plot hole. But then I was like, it's not, because this guy's panicking. Yes. Because Bowman went up there, he found the body, and he locked him, Maul locked him up there. Right. Now, this guy who, Jerry, who he almost convinced to leave, to go away, and he was like, I'm just gonna like send you off into the woods, you're injured, you're probably either gonna like die out there, or like the cops will get you, whatever. So I don't care, I'll wash my hands of it doesn't matter. But ends up discovering that, you know, it has somebody in it, and everything like that. So he's now freaking out about all of this. Yeah. And so he orchestrates this plan to put a heater under a desk and cover it with like a blanket, and
so that it'll catch fire.
So it'll catch fire. But he does that before, in my opinion, you'd actually want to do that, right? Because he's still in the building and he needs to like get, you know, to like make sure things are gonna go the way that he needs them to go. So he goes up there, he kills Jerry, and then he immediately basically like retreats. He's threatening Bowman. He's like, don't come out here, don't try to leave. Right. You know, basically I'll kill you, kind of a thing. And so he goes back down in this elevator shaft, the only way to get up there, or whatever. He gets back down to the bottom, and the lock to the like gate to block the elevator is locked again, because Jerry, or maybe he didn't lock it. I'm not totally sure. Whatever. It might just lock by itself. It doesn't matter. But it's
I assume it locks by itself, because there's another time where they go down there and it's locked. Yeah. So
anyway, but so he goes back down and then realizes Jerry still has the key. And so while he's like coming back up the elevator, Bowman gets the key off of him and everything, and then he's like, oh, this guy's gonna come back to get the key. But now the heater's gone on fire, so now he's also in here and he needs to get this key from Bowman and everything.
So he can get out.
And it's all done in this way of just like, oh no, he's not like a criminal mastermind. He did literally all of this because he was panicking about stuff. Right. And so he fucked up how you would actually be trying to get away with all of this. And he's more or less kind of doomed himself if he can't get this key back. Right. To the point where he ends up following Bowman down the chute to go down into the basement. I don't know that he would know that the button down there doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't think he did know that.
But then I don't think he would know or put together that Bowman rigged up the clock thing to be able to press the button on a timer. Right. So he ends up going down there to chase him down, not knowing how you would even get back up. Right. So it's like he just keeps making mistakes, and it's like I was sitting there being like, this guy's an idiot, and I was like, oh no, it's because he's literally panicking because he's about to get found out or whatever.
And all of this started because he had an affair with Fiona. Yeah. And so he is just panicking. Yeah. And I think this is how many times have we watched true crime stories where people get caught because they do stupid shit like this?
Exactly.
Where they just make flippant last minute decisions because they're like, oh my god, if they find out that I had sex with Fiona, then I'm gonna lose my job, and I'm gonna lose, you know, my wife and my kids and all this stuff. So I've got to get rid of Fiona. Yeah. And then
meanwhile, I've already so now I've killed Fiona.
So now I've killed Fiona, and now somebody knows I killed Fiona. Now I got to kill them. Yeah. Now somebody knows I'm trying to kill them and Fiona. So now I got to kill them. Yeah.
and then he's like, oh shit, what do I do now? I light the whole building on fire.
Right. Yeah, just lock them back in there and light the whole building on fire.
So I genuinely, like, I think that's what was, like, so scary to me about it, was because, like, that felt really, like, more real than I think, like, a lot of horror movies tend to get right with stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they always have, like, the psychotic killer who's, like, you know, terrorizing them or whatever. This guy was just a panicked... he's a coward.
Yeah.
Literally every time he goes to kill somebody, he does it by surprise.
Yep.
He straight up drugs Fiona and then leaves her for dead in this haunted thing that he's locked her in that she has no way to get out of.
Yep.
I will say, Fiona... I guess he sends her down there. So maybe he does know that the button doesn't work.
Because then she can't get back up.
Yeah. Because otherwise he would be worried that she might ring the bell for the thing and alert people that she's up there. So maybe he must know that the button doesn't work. Which, I mean, I think just doubles up on the, like...
He's not thinking...
No, he's literally not thinking about it. He's like,
step.
I just gotta get down there to get this key back.
Yeah.
Which, I just think it was, like, really cool... like storytelling to not explain any of this at all, but for me to be able to watch it and be like, whoa, this guy is like, he's coming apart.
He's literally coming apart.
Yeah. So anyway, what was your scariest moment?
I
guess the scene you close your eyes for.
The TV part scared me because I closed my eyes.
Yeah.
If it's not that, then I really liked the scene where when Bowman first goes down the dumbwaiter, he's kind of exploring the space because he's trying to see if he can use this, fire escape exit or whatever. And it's been bricked up, LOL. So he can't go that way and he has to go back. And he manages to get, because he's rigged up the clock to hit the button to send him back up, at a certain time. So he manages to escape before the witch can get to him. And you kind of have this moment of relief when he gets back up to the top where you're like,
this is also really good.
You're like, oh shit, okay, fine. Like he made it back out. Yeah. She's down in the basement. He just won't go down in the basement anymore. And then like, he'll be cool. And when he looks back down the dumbwaiter chute, her head is like looking up at him from down at the bottom, and you're like, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's just creepy.
And that's a horrible image.
Yeah.
And but you're still like, okay, but he's safe.
Yeah, but she's down there, so what can she really do?
But then she starts fucking crawling up the wall like a spider, and he like slams the door to the dumbwaiter shut, and he's like, oh, fucking shit balls, and just like, but there's no lock or anything, so he has to...
He's like running around the suite trying to like avoid her because she's basically chasing him at this point.
Yes, it's horrifying when she gets to the top and you see that hand come around the door frame. Very, really very horror classic to have the hand on the door frame. But he,
horror movie monsters and villains love doing the thing.
They love to grasp,
slowly reach around the door, with their little fingies, and then open it.
Yeah,
they know what they do. They gotta know what they're doing.
It's part of the thrill of the chase.
They love it.
Yes,
those little perverts.
But that whole scene was probably the most tense for me. Yeah. I loved the shot of looking down the chute and seeing her weird kind of. I thought
that was really cool, and it wasn't just that you see her head down there. It's like you see it, and then like there's lights going all the way down, like these electric lights, and then they slowly start like going out. And every time like we get the shot from like his point of view looking down, but then we'll cut to like almost her point of view looking up. But you also notice, or I noticed, that like the camera is coming up towards him very slowly, as though she is coming up as the lights are going out. And I was like, she's gonna get him. She's gonna get him. It was really good. Genuinely, I like really like this movie. It was like really fun. That is not to say that I didn't have like a couple of small little issues with it. I think I'm gonna
guess it's stuff that you think is a plot hole that I don't think is a plot hole, but go on.
Not necessarily. I think in what is potentially a life or death situation, where the one person, because Jerry shows back up to like get him, and there's this whole thing where Bowman figures out, I can try to ring the bell to alert him or whatever,
that I'm here,
and they played this very well. I genuinely liked this bit of it because like it's a thing where like we now fully know who the killer is. Jerry is injured, has like no way to overpower him or anything. So like if he wanted to get him, whatever, and Bowman starts ringing or trying to ring the bell or figure it out, but when he starts when he actually gets to the bell, Jerry's already outside, so he doesn't hear it. And then there's this tension thing where he comes back inside, and everything.
He forgot the keys
because he forgot the keys or whatever. And the button, the little pull thing, it's like a mechanical pull string or whatever, has like snapped at this point, and so he's trying to like fix it or like reach into the wall to be able. Bowman's trying to reach into the wall to be able to get it or whatever to alert him. And they played this in that way of like, you and I as the audience are like, this is great because it will alert Jerry that somebody is up there,
right?
Because Jerry suspected something might be going on. But Maul has like assured him that there's nothing up there,
right?
Or that he checked or whatever. Anyway, but at the same time, while yes, this would alert him that whatever, it's that thing of like in horror movies, you always know as soon as the killer gets found out, they're just gonna kill the guy, because they're gonna be taken by surprise. But the killer's like, oh, game over, kill him, or whatever. So it was very much that tension building thing, which is not how it ended up playing out, which was cool. My gripe with it is that Bowman figures out Jerry is there because there is a window that he can see out of. Yeah. You're telling me that
it had bars on it.
You can still break the glass.
You could break the glass.
And start yelling out the window, Jerry, I'm up here.
Right.
Didn't even remotely try that. And that man tried kicking a door open, with everything he had before he had to give up and try to like do a thing. That was my only gripe, is like in a life or death situation, there's furniture in there.
I'm punching the window.
I don't give a shit if I cut my hand open on this, because otherwise I'm just locked up here for the off season, and I will die because he could just wait me out and I'll starve to death.
Right, even if the fucking witch doesn't get me.
Right, like again, and this was after the supernatural shit started, so like
he already knows about the witch.
Should be motivated to get the hell out of here. Yeah. So it was literally like my only gripe was that one little bit of like,
I thought that too.
You could break some glass, man.
I was like,
I'm not saying he could get out. I'm saying
rip that cloth off, punch the window, and
because
then
I kind of thought that's where it was gonna go. And then when he like broke the panel to like reach in and grab the remainder of the cable to keep ringing the bell, then I was like, okay, so that's kind of be how they kind of get around it, of him not breaking the glass. But I'm also just like, break the glass, man.
Just break the glass.
Like, if you see Jerry getting in the car and you're like, oh, this is my last chance, or what, break the glass, man.
Right.
So, anyway, that was literally, like, my only gripe. And it's not that big of a deal.
No, it's not.
They get around it pretty easily, but...
Yeah. Let's talk about ratings really quick.
We can rate it.
So, I've got it pulled up here. Looks like Curtis gave it a 7.7... Right, yeah, 7.7, and I gave it a 7.5, so we had a combined average of 7.6 for this movie.
Yep.
Which is the highest movie by far we've watched in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the performances were genuinely pretty good. Like, being able to go from, like, wow... Adam Scott's character is like an irredeemable asshole to by the end of it being like, he's still a jerk, but I understand why he's like that.
Right.
I think is like really cool. I loved the whole like kind of B plot killer thing or whatever. And then like getting that. Yeah. I really, really, really love that. And the twists on that were just like really fun for it. Supernatural stuff, I think, sometimes is spooky to me and other times it's not. I think this leans a little bit more towards it's a little spooky for me only because they do a really good job of like setting up that like if he doesn't get out, it will be bad.
Right.
And then like making it very clear that it's about to go to that point, but we never actually get there, so it kind of remains an unknown.
Right.
For us. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a fun, cool movie.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I actually gave it an 8 for scares because I closed my eyes. There are movies I can think of that have scared me more, which is why it's not like a 10.
Yeah.
But I think a movie is pretty effective for me if I feel that kind of primal fear where I'm like, I can't even watch what's about to happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary, And of course, what scares them is different.
Right.
So other people might see this and they may not have that experience where they want to peek behind their little fingies because they can't quite look at the screen.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you're just stronger than me.
Yeah.
But I was genuinely freaked out.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think the things that end up scaring me the most is like, scaring is also kind of like a difficult word for me to use because like sometimes it's not like scary and more, it just it makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Right. Or
which is a form,
or it's disturbing.
Yeah, which is a form of being scared.
Yeah.
So I count it the same. But like one of the things I can think of, not from this movie, but that like every time I think of it, that like still kind of like fucks me up. It's from Hellraiser,
yep.
and it's the scene where they're like carrying like a couch or some shit, and the dad like hits his hand on like a nail or something, and it like tears his hand.
His skin. Yeah.
Every time I think about it, it grosses me out, and it's not even like particularly like a realistic effect.
Yeah.
I think it's genuinely because like I can imagine it actually happening, and so that like that extra bit of realism of like, oh, I can actually picture this,
right,
is what actually makes it super scary. Because like, you know, by the same token, you know, Friday the 13th, where Jason, well, it's not, it's Mrs. Voorhees,
yeah.
But you think it's Jason at this point, shoves an arrow through Kevin Bacon's throat. I can watch that all day and the blood pouring out and everything like that. Right. But I'm also like, I don't know, it's not that nobody's ever taken an arrow to the throat, right? Like that's happened before to people, but like I can't really imagine that kind of injury occurring to me or whatever. Yeah. So
it's funny how things affect people differently because I always tend to find the supernatural stuff to be the stuff that scares me the most, even though it's the most unrealistic.
Sure.
Whereas things that are more real, like I might have that, you know, if there's a particularly good effect of like someone being cut or injured or whatever, I might have that like ooh kind of reaction, but it doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah. And
it doesn't tend to stick with me. Like you've told that Hellraiser story so many times, it does nothing for me.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing is like I know it doesn't.
But supernatural stuff scares the shit out of me, even though it's not realistic. And I think it's because I go to that place of like, God, if I was in that situation, what could I even fucking do?
Start
like,
kicking.
There's a part of me that's like, if it's just a guy with a knife, I might get killed anyway. Yeah. I can fucking fist fight that guy to my last dying breath. I can kick, bite, scratch, gouge eyeballs. I can do whatever I have to do. If there's a witch or a ghost or a demon, I can't do any of that shit.
Yeah. What's that movie where they get stuck in the asylum? And like the doors and shit are changing all the time. Oh man, I can't remember it.
Grave Encounters.
Yeah. It's like like I can fight a dude with a knife, but if that creepy ass like gangly dude that's big, like screaming at, what am I gonna do against that?
That's
and I'll tell you, I'm still gonna start throwing punches. Will I die immediately? Yes. But I'm going down swinging.
See, and I don't think I would. I think I would be so frozen with fear that I wouldn't.
You got it.
But a guy with a man isn't gonna kill me. Sorry. Sorry.
That's not how I'm going out.
That's not how I'm gonna go out.
Pennywise on notice. I'm taking him out.
Yeah. Well, even that would freak me out because that's not just a guy.
Yeah.
He's also a demon of some variety.
But you see, I think I could actually take out Pennywise because I don't fear him. I make him think he's weak. I know his secret.
Yeah, I know his secret too because I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
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 But it's interesting because I think there are kind of two camps of people in general when we talk about horror and what's scary, and there are people who find realism scary, and there are people who find like the unrealistic scary, and I'm definitely in that camp. Yeah. And I don't really know why. Because, again, I completely understand why people find realism scary because it's easier to imagine yourself in that situation and to feel the sensations or to imagine what you might do or, it's like a home invasion movie. That could happen to somebody, right? Somebody could break into your house and, like, could do those things. But realism isn't as effective for me as something that is kind of this like ethereal, like I don't know how to handle this. I don't have a plan for what I would do, and I find all those unknowns to be really scary.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. I think there are some movies that are like really effective at like utilizing the fact that it is this like unknown to be like that is what's scary about it. And I do genuinely like when that happens. I also think that there's a fair number of movies that like I think it happens a lot with found footage and ghost movies in particular, or like demon stuff, where like the kind of explanation gets chalked up to it's a demon, it's ghosts, they can just do that,
it's a ghost,
or whatever.
Can just do that.
And like you're just kind of expected to be like, yeah, okay, I guess it can do that, but then you're just like, why didn't it do that before? You know, and like normally in ghost movies, it's the reveal or the twist is like, oh, it's because it's not just a ghost, it's a demon, and they love doing this to people. Right. And like, I get that that's established like history of like demons and everything, so like I get it, but it also kind of feels like a crutch of just like the demons want to fuck with people, and so that's why it's scary, and like it's doing all of this or whatever. But not to say that I don't enjoy those movies. I do genuinely watch them.
You know, like, there's a lot of stinkers out there. Yeah, I've watched plenty of supernatural movie that doesn't scare me at all because they're poorly done. Yeah. But the stuff like well done supernatural horror is what scares me the most.
Yes. No, I love it. I will say one of the genres of horror that really doesn't get me very much is like sci-fi horror a lot.
No.
A lot of times I watch it and it doesn't really do anything for me. Like aliens and stuff. Like I like the alien movies. They're fun. Literally not scary to me even a little bit. Yeah. You know?
Ooh, you're gonna take me away from Earth? Fucking sign me up.
Well, I'm talking about like even the xenomorphs and everything, you know? Like I actually find...
Yeah, because it's basically a creature feature, and I don't find creature features
And creature features just aren't really that scary to me either. Like I don't know, werewolf, whatever, I don't care. Yeah. Vampire, whatever.
Oh, big bear? Shoot that thing.
Yeah, just kill it.
Problem solved.
Yeah. I actually find the scarier parts of the alien movies, the like corporation like owning, like I think that's actually more existentially terrifying than anything the xenomorph does to anybody in those movies. Yep. Anyway,
all that to say, go see Hokum. Yeah, it's in theaters now.
It's pretty good. I think generally people will like it. Yeah, it seems to be getting decent
so far
reviews
it has seemed well reviewed.
Yeah, so
let's go watch Oddity now.
Yeah, we can watch Oddity. That'd be cool.
Yeah, there was a scene in Oddity that made me close my eyes too.
Yeah. Nice.
So Damian McCarthy,
2 for 2 on that.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should watch Caveat since neither of us have seen that.
We can watch both. Yeah, we got time.
Plenty of time.
Not really.
Not right now, we'll figure it out. But we got time in life.
Anyway,
I think that's it. So if you have any suggestions, or if you go see Hokum and you want to tell us what your scariest part was, you can find us on social media. We are at First Fright Pod on Instagram and X. You can also send us an email. It's firstfrightpod@gmail.com. And we have a Facebook page, Love at First Fright, just the name of the podcast. Feel free to reach out to us there. We would love to hear from you. And be sure to keep your suggestions coming. We're slowly working our way through all of the suggestions, and we'll get to them eventually, probably, unless your suggestion is bad.
And even if it's bad.
And if it's bad, Curtis will make me watch it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really it for this one. It's a good movie. You should go watch it. I think it's a fun time.
Yeah.
But that's really it. Spoilers over. You can tune back in now. I don't know what the timestamp's gonna be, but
yeah.
Skip over the bulk of this episode.
Right.
And then right here at the end. Anyway, as always, scare well, and see you next time.
Goodbye.
Dude, the luck of the Irish or whatever.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
No real luck in this one. I mean, maybe a little. Right? You gotta have to be a little lucky to get out of that.
Yeah. And they're always stealing me Lucky Charms.
Always stealing me. Actually, they're not stealing his Lucky Charms in the movie. He like explicitly keeps finding random objects to like help him get out of stuff.
He keeps that shit on him.
Yeah, he's actually pretty lucky.